Hey guys, it's Joe and you're watching Hustle and Grind. I am so excited. Tonight's guest is Jimmy Adams of sportsmemo.com. Jimmy, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Joe. Excited to talk sports with you.
Absolutely. It's an absolute pleasure. We're going to jump into this quick and fast. Let's talk the Phoenix Suns tonight against the LA Lakers. Now, I'm seeing the line has moved on this. I'm seeing the Phoenix Suns getting 1.5 points. And the total sitting around 207. What are you liking in this game?
Yeah, so when I originally released this game at Sports Memo last night, we gave it to the clients at +2. That's where I bet it myself. And the big question I have is what has really changed from last game? When the Suns were up by 30 at halftime, they won by 30. There was no AD. It's been kind of hush-hush. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? And I don't really care if he plays or not, because obviously if he doesn't play, the Lakers are incompetent without him. Coming into the last game, they were shooting 29.1% from three-point range. The role players are not stepping up. LeBron's trying to put everyone on his back. He can't do it alone. He walked off the court early and embarrassed his teammates, embarrassed himself. Even if Anthony Davis was to suit up, we know he's injured. And he's not going to be very effective. So all it's really going to do is slow the game down. And the Suns have been disrespected in the betting market all season long, in my opinion. And we find them here as an underdog. And all that's really changed is the venue. We're playing in LA. This Suns team is too good to have a 30-point swing just because we're changing and playing in the Lakers' home court. So.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. When I looked at this line today, I was shocked that they were coming out with this, especially after the last win. I can't remember the actual total of the last win, but I was blown away. I think it was like 115, 116 to 85. It was, the Suns blew them out of the water. And you're right. Even if AD plays, he's injured and he's going to be slow on that court. And you're right. That under is looking pretty beautiful, especially if he is on the court.
It is, and credit to the Suns defense for making LA shoot such a low percentage on the series. Chris Paul, I think he's going to play, and he's played brilliantly, but he has a great backup in Payne. Devin Booker doing his thing. DeAndre Ayton's putting up a double-double every game. So the Suns may be the team that end up coming out of the West. We'll have to see, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We'll just try and win this game tonight.
Well, you know what? I would love to see the Suns come out of this, to be honest with you. It's nice to have fresh blood there to say something. It's boring if we just see the Lakers keep moving on. And that's coming from a Lakers fan. Lakers are my basketball team, but you guys, we need to mix up this season, I think.
We do. They had it last year, and it's been a long time since Phoenix was good, so I agree with you.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk some MLB. Now, MLB this year has been fantastic. I'm wanting to know from you, which teams do you think have been the best teams to bet on so far this year? Yeah,
so I've been on a pretty good run in MLB, 30-6, last 36 plays. That would be since May 7th. That's all documented, of course. Go to sportsmemo.com or vegasinsider.com. All my plays are documented. So some of the teams that we've made money on during the streak have been the San Francisco Giants, who were undervalued for a long time and had the best return on investment for a really long time. I haven't checked those rankings recently.
I'm guessing it's about 65.4% is what I saw last week.
Yeah, they keep cashing tickets. And then teams like the White Sox, they have incredible stats against left-handed pitching. It's just remarkable. The White Sox could win it all this year. They have definite capabilities. And then I can go ahead and give out a free play for tomorrow. Circa just.
Go ahead. I'd love to hear a free play for tomorrow. Sorry.
All right. No worries. Yeah, so Circa just released their lines. I still have a lot of handicapping to do for tonight, but just at first glance, if you go ahead and look at the Rays, I think they came out at minus 126 at circa. So in baseball, you want to bet on streaks, not against them for the most part. I went against that today, and I gave a play on the Red Sox to not get swept by the Astros. We got a nice 120 this morning, so I'm glad that cashed. But for the most part, as a general rule, we want to be betting on streaks, not against them in baseball, as opposed to the NFL, where you might pick your spot and for a bounce back or that sort of thing, or a zigzag in the NBA. Mm-hmm. But the Rays have won 6 of 8 and 17 of 20. They were on that crazy win streak about a week ago, and they have Josh Fleming going to the mound. Fleming has a 2.98 ERA and 43.1 innings pitched. He allowed 2 runs last time out against the Phillies. He is going against Kyle Gibson of the Rangers, who has pitched well, but the Rangers have lost 9 straight games. They're a pure fade team right now. There's no way you can bet on the Rangers right now. So at quick glance, at a reasonable price, there's a free play to take the Rays for tomorrow.
Absolutely. I really like that. And it's funny how each sport changes. You definitely don't go against momentum in baseball, and you do in other sports. So how did you learn this? Like, where did this come from? Where did you learn this kind of knowledge?
Oh, man. So I've been handicapping for about 15 years, and I learned from just watching really the best handicappers that have come before me and kind of modeling my handicap after what they do. There's a couple different types of handicappers. There's lots of different types of handicappers, but you've got your analytics guys, you've got your smoke and mirrors guys, eye test guys, so to speak, and then you'll find me kind of in the middle. So I look at analytics, which are really important, and especially in a sport like baseball, XFIP, and all those sorts of stats. But I'm also still a big believer that the eye test is important as well. You got to be watching these games. Are any players giving any sorts of tells? Who's looking good? Who's in good form? And just a mixture of handicapping, taking all pieces of information that you can find on the internet and a bunch of different opinions, diving into local newspapers and finding information that may not be on your typical networks like ESPN and that sort of thing. And so it's just been the last 15 years of learning and working hard and expanding my knowledge that way.
Absolutely. Now, what do you think of situations? Because I know huge situational for NFL. What do you think for MLB for the situations on teams traveling, multiple travel games, long series? What do you think of that?
Yeah, so I don't put too much stock in travel as other handicappers, especially in a sport like baseball, just because these players are so used to it. They're so used to taking a red eye or finishing a game at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, having to get on a plane and play the next day. They're just so used to it. So in baseball especially, and then baseball is also the sport where I would hold the least stock in like a home field or a home court advantage. We saw New York, the Knicks, they didn't pull it out last night, but the home court advantage was tremendous. And if they were able to knock down shots and, the spot certainly said New York last night, just like it did in their lone win of the series. You're not going to find spots like that until the playoffs. Playoff baseball is a different animal, and there are advantages to be had. But right now, with fans just starting to get back into stadiums, I wouldn't be too concerned with travel or road teams in baseball.
Okay, so now you say that. What do you think the weighting is on having these fans now back in the stands, especially after COVID?
So it definitely has some impact, right? The players want the fans in the stands. It's hard to get amped up for a game, I would imagine. I mean, I'm not a pro athlete, but I'd imagine it's hard to get amped up when there's no one in the stands. And the world's watching, but it's not very much different from batting practice with no one there. With the fans there, you've got a lot of guys cheering. And then especially in a sport like hockey, which you handicap, we've seen the fans have a tremendous impact. So in basketball, football, hockey, I think it's huge. Baseball has some impact. It's just not going to have as much as those other sports.
Absolutely. And I agree. And I've talked to a couple of ex-baseball players and they're like, don't you realize how many stadiums we played in without fans as they're rising in the leagues? So I never even thought of that, like the junior leagues and everything. To me, they always have fans. So, but they say it's not the case. There's some stadiums they're sitting there and there's no one there cheering for them. So.
And you want to have them in the stands yelling when you're up by a run in the 9th inning and the closer's on the mound. You want to have the stands, that can only work to your advantage. So
absolutely. Well, Jimmy, it was absolutely a pleasure to have you here today. Can you tell everyone where they can reach out and find you?
Yeah, you can find me over at sportsmemo.com, Jimmy Adams at Sports Memo. We're running all kinds of specials all the time, all kinds of coupons. I give away plays for next to nothing. Today's winner was just $9 on the Red Sox plus 120. So you can do season long, weekly, monthly for your best value. But whatever your need is, baseball and basketball currently, and then as we head into the football season, head over to sportsmemo.com. Give me a follow at jimmyAdamsvegas, and let's make some money.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful night, Jimmy, and I hope to do it again soon.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Bye, guys.